Welcome to Zero Meaning, where we unravel words, redefine perspectives, and empower healthy change. I'm your host, Zero, and in each episode, we explore the roots and evolution of the language we use every day, clearing up misconceptions and uncovering how these words shape our thoughts, our relationships, and the way we see ourselves and the world around us. Because when we start using our words more intentionally, we also start living more intentionally. Today, we continue our DEI journey with a word that's often misunderstood, often confused with equality, and is absolutely essential to progress. Equity. Let's unravel it together. The word equity traces back to the Latin aequitas, meaning evenness, fairness, or justice. That Latin root comes from aequitas, meaning equal or level. From Roman law to French legal systems, this concept traveled through time into Middle East as equité, meaning impartiality, fairness, and justice in decisions and relationships. In ancient Rome, aequitas was more than just a word. It was personified as a goddess. She symbolized justice, moral uprightness, and societal balance, often depicted with a cornucopia and scales. She represented the ideal fairness in abundance and judgment, a reminder that equity was about more than sameness. It was about balance. The original meaning helps frame modern usage. Equity is not uniformity, it's fairness, even when fairness requires different approaches. It's easy to confuse equity and equality as they're related, but not the same. Equality means giving everyone the same thing. Equity means giving everyone what they need to thrive. Let's use a classic metaphor. Imagine three people trying to look over a fence. One person is tall, one person is average height, and one person is short. Equality gives each person the same size box. Only the tallest two can see. But equity? Equity gives the shortest person the biggest box, the average person the medium box, and the tallest person none at all. Now, they can all see over the fence. That's what equity does. It meets people where they are. It recognizes that not everyone starts at the same place and adjusts accordingly. This concept is crucial when we talk about racial justice, educational reform, workplace advancement, or healthcare access. Equality assumes the playing field is level. Equity asks, how do we make the field fair in the first place? So why does equity matter? Equity matters because inequality is real. We live in a world built on systems, economic, legal, educational, and social, that were not designed with everyone in mind. Some groups face systemic barriers that others don't. Pretending otherwise doesn't fix the imbalance, it reinforces it. In education, equity ensures students from low-income backgrounds or historically marginalized groups receive the support they need to succeed. Not just the same books, but the tutors, counselors, and safe environments that level the playing field. In workplace, equity is about access and advancement. Are hiring practices inclusive? Are mentorships available? Are promotions fair? True equity in business isn't just good ethics. It leads to innovation, morale, and long-term success. In healthcare, equity can literally save lives. It means ensuring that race, income, location, or language doesn't determine who gets quality care. Across every sector, equity is what turns opportunity into reality. When equity is dismissed, we often hear calls for neutrality or colorblindness. But neutrality in an unequal system isn't neutral. It's compliance to the status quo. Removing equity programs from schools, businesses, or government doesn't create fairness. It creates invisibility. It says, your obstacles aren't real, or worse, they're your fault. The rollback of DEI initiatives across the U.S. reflects a dangerous trend, treating equity as a threat instead of a tool for unity. When you dismantle equity, you strengthen inequality. And that has real consequences. Higher dropout rates, lower innovation, more workplace turnover, reduced civic trust. Ignoring equity erodes our institutions from within. Now, here's where you come in. Equity isn't just a policy or a boardroom buzzword. It's a personal practice. It's about how we treat others, how we listen, how we speak up, and how we create space for voices different from our own. I want to challenge you. Ask yourself, who isn't in the room and why? If you manage people, think about how you support each one uniquely. If you're hiring, mentoring, teaching, or collaborating, are you just being equal or are you being equitable? In your personal life, Consider how you redistribute time, energy, and empathy in a way that lifts others. And yes, equity can even show up in the small things. Who do you recommend for opportunities? Whose story do you listen to or read? Who do you interrupt? And who do you allow to speak? These moments may seem minor, but collectively, they shape culture. Equity asks us to see people not just as individuals, but as members of systems that may or may not serve them equally. Equity is giving everyone the tools they need to thrive, not pretending we all started with the same ones. Equity levels the playing field. It doesn't lower the bar. Equity addresses the gap. Equality assumes the gap doesn't exist. It's a practice of justice that requires awareness, compassion, and effort. And it's worth it. Because when we strive for equity, we're not lowering standards. We're raising the floor. We're not taking from one to give to another. We're ensuring everyone has a chance to contribute their best. And when everyone can contribute their best, we all rise. Before we close, I wanted to share a poem I wrote, one that emerged while reflecting on how equity and survival intersect in everyday life. I don't have a title for this poem. I just was inspired to write it based off of my research on today's topic. I see him looking at me again, ready to take my food, the very thing keeping this mortal coil from collapsing into a pile of brokenness. My substance, my life, my air, and my ocean of solitude shattered. And so now I have to wonder what it's like to not to have to just survive like a rodent in the night, wondering why the owl is glorified at all. And yet, this owl in the middle of the night, wanted to take everything away in sheer boredom, only sees mischief instead of survival as he laughs at the disposition of the needy and kicks over the donation can into the middle of rush hour traffic. He doesn't know it, but in 3 months' time, he will be sitting next to the previously described rodent after having lost his job, after having lost his house, as the cycle continues and another owl spreads his wings to swipe away everything he now owns at the bottom of that coffee can, now in middle of the busy road. If this poem spoke to you, or you're looking for more pieces like it, visit sconeandscribe.com. It's where I share reflections, poetry, and digital products designed to help others right through the struggle and find beauty in the process. And if you found value in today's exploration, don't miss the next part of our DEI series on inclusion, where we explore belonging, intentional culture making, and how language can either welcome or exile. That's it for this episode of Xero Meaning, where we unravel words, redefine perspectives, and empower healthy change. Words shape the way we think, and the way we think shapes the way we live. So choose your words wisely, question what you've been told, and never stop seeking the truth beneath the surface. Until next time, stay mindful, stay curious, and keep redefining meaning.